Hey, what's up, guys? Raymaster Flex here, and oh my God, I just finished watching SmackDown Live. There's been a lot of things that's been going on this week, uh, between yesterday and today, but there was something today that I have to immediately make a video about right now. Carmella has finally cashed in her Money in the Bank contract. Oh my goodness. When I finally seen her do it, I exploded. There was so much returns and call ups for NXT last night. It was hard for me to even do a video on Raw because it was so many people that came back that I couldn't even do a video on Raw because of that. And the one thing I would say about SmackDown, even though I kind of expected SmackDown to do the same, SmackDown wasn't more so based off of returns and debuts or call ups, NXT call ups. The one thing that made SmackDown good tonight was just simply the wrestling. And that's just the part that I could appreciate because watching SmackDown tonight, it wasn't really about the NXT call ups or debuts or returns. We only seen two women from NXT that got called up. But other than that, it was just straight up about the wrestling, which was perfect. And finally, Carmella cashed in her Money in the Bank contract and was successful at it because they had been making constant teases and having Carmella come out week after week after week, cash in the money, pretend like she's about to cash it in, and then Charlotte would stop her. We've seen Charlotte get attacked by the Wyatt Squad. We've seen many a times Charlotte was attacked on SmackDown and Carmella would try to cash it in and it wouldn't happen. And finally it happened, and I am so proud and so glad that Carmella is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Because for one, I'm glad that she finally got her moment because I thought it should have happened at WrestleMania. Just sitting in the back, not having a match at WrestleMania, got to be painful for a lot of these guys, a lot of these, women and men athletes out here. You bust your ass, um, the whole freaking 365 days a year just to get to that moment, just to get to the grandest stage of them all, to be at WrestleMania. And Carmella wasn't even didn't even have a match at WrestleMania unless they put her in a women's battle royal, which I didn't look at all the names that was in there. But even so, that was at the pre-show. She didn't even have a match on the card at WrestleMania. So to finally get her moment, to finally come out there and cash in the night after WrestleMania, 2 nights after WrestleMania on SmackDown Live, I think that was absolutely amazing. Especially when 5 years ago it was Dolph Ziggler who cashed in his Money in the Bank contract the night after WrestleMania on Raw against Alberto Del Rio. I think it was good for SmackDown to have a moment where someone would cash in the Money in the Bank after WrestleMania, and Carmella was the one to do it. And I really wanted her to cash in and be successful anyway, not because of the failure of Baron Corbin, but simply because I didn't think it would have been right to have your first woman to win the Money in the Bank contract to fail cashing in. I don't think that would have made any sense. If they were going to fail women cashing the Money in the Bank, they could do that long down the line. But I don't think it would have made any sense at all to have her uh, to win the Money in the Bank and then fail cashing in. I just don't think that would have made any sense. As we all know, when she originally won the contract, she got a little assist from James Ellsworth because he actually pulled the briefcase down and dropped it to her. So she had to fight for it again, and she ended up being successful getting the Money in the Bank contract back on the match on SmackDown Live, where this time James Ellsworth didn't grab the briefcase. Of course, this is before he got released. And like I said, timing is everything. I've been wondering for so long when they were going to finally have her cash in and be successful. They had so many teases, and it wouldn't work. Week after week, she would come out, and it was getting to the point. And see, that's the thing I didn't like. They overused her cashing it in. Now they've done that with other cash-ins, but not as much as Carmella. Like they basically had her coming out almost every week, making it seem like she's about to cash in, and then something would happen where either she would knock the ref down. One time she knocked the ref down, or not Carmella, Charlotte would get back up and then take the briefcase out of her hand or throw it out of her hand. They always had something stupid happen where she would come out, and then something crazy would happen where she wouldn't be able to cash in. And I think the only reason why they had Charlotte and Asuka streak because I was highly shocked that that happened. I think the only reason why they had that happen at WrestleMania was just to give Charlotte her moment at WrestleMania, only for her to drop the belt 2 nights later on SmackDown Live, which I got no problem with because, like I said, it's not that I have anything against Charlotte, but Charlotte has pretty much took a lot of the spotlight on Monday Night Raw. She was the Raw Women Champion. What was it? 4 times, I believe, 3 to 4 times. Yeah, because this is her first SmackDown Women's Championship that she beat Natalia for. So she was like Raw Women's Champion about 3, 4 times before she moved on to SmackDown when she got shook up the SmackDown last year in Superstar Shakeup. So I really think that this should have went to someone who's never been the SmackDown Women's Champion. And Carmella is just that one. You know, Carmella has been on SmackDown Live ever since they first had the draft because they actually drafted her from NXT when they did the draft. That's how she came to SmackDown Live in the first place. And she's been on SmackDown Live ever since. A lot of people were saying that in the shakeup they were going to put her on Raw, but I just generally didn't think that was going to make any sense. I think she should have gotten her moment on SmackDown Live, and definitely she has gotten her moment. I'm so glad that she got her moment because the way that they were teasing it, it made us all believe that she was going to fail her Money in the Bank cash-in, which, like I said, generally wouldn't have made any sense to have your first woman who won the Money in the Bank briefcase, because in history it will always say Carmella was the first woman to do it, and for her to fail her Money in the Bank cash in. And you can argue, well, Asuka, won the Royal Rumble, the first woman to win that, and then she failed winning the championship at WrestleMania. But I mean, like I said, I think that was more so, and I'll touch more on that because later on this week, even later on this week on the weekend, I'll probably try to do a video of my WWE WrestleMania 34 review because I did take a look at WrestleMania 34. I don't have the Negler, so I actually wait until someone uploads highlights and I look at it that way. So I did actually look at all the matches so I can, probably do a video about that later down in the week. But like I said, this video right here is specifically focused on Carmella because Carmella finally has gotten her opportunity and has finally made her moment on becoming a SmackDown's women's champion. And she, like I said, she definitely earned it. I'm not gonna say she deserved it because a lot of fans chant they deserve it, wrestlers deserve it, but a lot of wrestlers say that they don't like hearing that because it's not about you deserving it, it's about you earning it. And for her, she earned it. It's just only thing is, I'm just wondering how long they're gonna have her keep the belt. I hope it's not one of those things where she won the belt and then she drops it like the very next pay per view or something like that at the Greatest Royal Rumble, or she drops it at Backlash or something. I hope it's not one of those type things. But like I said, man, like these last 2 days has been jack pack. Um, there were so many returns last night on Raw that I couldn't even really do a video to even talk about it because it was just so many of them. Bobby Lashley came back. My man Samoa Joe came back from injury. I mean, Jeff Hardy came back from injury. Just so many returns on Monday Night Raw. I couldn't even focus on it. And then tonight, like I said, I like how the way SmackDown did it. Because, see, match quality wise last night, Raw was a great show. It was a great show. But match quality, all the matches weren't like big high solidity type matches. It was more so based off of returns and stuff like that. And most of the call-ups matches were pretty short. I was glad Ember Moon finally came to the main roster. I think this was definitely her time to come. I was glad that I was glad the Authors of Pain got called up, even though I thought they should have been put on SmackDown Live. It was a lot of good call-ups for NXT last night. Just so many returns and call-ups and everything. It was ridiculous on Raw. And so tonight, I kind of thought SmackDown was going to do the same because they pulled this move last year. I thought they were going to have like maybe Johnny Gargano come since he really has nothing else to do on NXT unless they're going to keep his story going that he's having right now. I thought that the former NXT champion, can't say his name right, but I know his name, was going to come since he just lost the belt. I thought this SmackDown was going to really call some people up since Raw took so many people and put them on the show. And obviously, when they do the shakeup next week, they're gonna have some people go to SmackDown Live. But Raw took so many people. It's utterly ridiculous how many people was put on Raw. This kind of just shows you how much Vince favors Raw, trying to put that many people on Raw. Because I think some of them should have came to SmackDown Live. That's just too many people put on Monday Night Raw. But you know, I didn't have a problem with SmackDown tonight. I would say that I was highly disappointed when Jinder Mahal. No, I was highly disappointed when Randy Orton won the triple threat, because now we're seeing basically a repeat of what happened last year during the Randy Orton Jinder Mahal feud for the WWE Championship. Only this time it's for the United States Championship. I was hoping Rusev would win, but we all know what Vince McMahon is pretty much doing with Rusev at this point, and it was even proven at WrestleMania what he's doing with Rusev. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Rusev just completely leaves, since he pretty much was already heading out the door anyway, and that was the reason why he's put in the match in the first place. But like I said, man, this SmackDown wasn't really about returns or debuts or call ups, because it was only two women that got called up. This was more about this SmackDown was more about the wrestling, and that's what I like. This was not really about all that. This is more so about the wrestling. Raw was great, but it more so focused on that. SmackDown just clearly focused on the wrestling. And from the start to the finish, especially the Usos and New Day match, this match was actually way better than the match they had at Fastlane. That match was only made to set up their match with the Bludgeon Brothers at WrestleMania. That was a hell of a opener for SmackDown Live. Um, you know, they clearly just focus on the wrestling here for the most part. And I nearly thought that when Carmella was cashing in with how long the ref was taking. I mean, I nearly thought that she was going to fail again in her actual cash. And I thought she was going to fail because the ref was just taking so long to actually put her briefcase on the line and have her cash in. I nearly thought she was going to fail. And, it turned out she didn't, man. And like I said, I'm just so glad that Carmella finally got her moment, that Carmella finally won the SmackDown Women's Championship, because, like I said, they said, it's been 287 days, which is actually longer than how long Edge held his Money in the Bank briefcase when he won it at WrestleMania 21. He only held it up until New Year's resolution, a revolution of 2006, and that's when he cashed it in against John Cena. So typically she's held it longer than him, and I'm finally glad that she won the belt. Now, like I said, the question is now, where do you go from here with Peyton Royce and what is, dang man, I forgot her name already. They just came tonight. I can't think what the other one's name is, but when they burst on the scene, kind of make you think, what's next for Carmella? How long is she gonna hold the belt? Is she just someone that they had her have her moment and they'll have her drop the belt? I mean, I'm just interested to see where they're gonna go with this, man. Like, um, I'm interested to see where they're gonna go with this, to be very honest. So, like I said, this was one heck of a moment. I'm so glad she finally got her moment. It's been long and awakening. Uh, just the show all out was just a really good show from start to finish. Especially, we even seen Daniel Bryan finally get back in the ring on SmackDown Live. Paige is the new SmackDown's general manager. Even though a lot of people thought Hulk Hogan was gonna come back, that was the big rumor. But I'm fine with Paige being the SmackDown general manager, especially when she just made her retirement on Monday Night Raw. I'm fine with her being the general manager. I don't have a problem with her being the general manager of SmackDown Live. Um, I think that's a good way to just keep her living with wrestling to retire at such a young age, because she basically retired longer than anybody else. She retired earlier than anybody else has had to retire that I know of. So like I said, I'm so glad Carmella got this opportunity. I want to see where they're gonna go with this. I want to see how the story's gonna go here. It was timing, man. It was getting to the point where everybody thought that Carmella wasn't going to be successful cashing in, because they teased it so much on SmackDown Live that they just had us all thinking that Carmella was going to fail. They had us all thinking that Carmella was going to cash in and fail her Money in the Bank cash in. which would have just been sad because that's basically saying that at this point they'd just be wasting Money in the Bank winners to keep having to fail cash-ins. It just wouldn't make any sense, you know. And I think she is ready. I think she is ready to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. You know, we've seen so many different SmackDown Women's champions ever since they first put the belt on SmackDown Live and they did the draft. Becky Lynch was the first one. Um, you know, Alexa Bliss was the second one. Naomi was the third one. Then Alexa Bliss won it again. Then Naomi won it back at WrestleMania last year. Then she dropped the belt to Natalya. Then Natalya dropped the belt to Charlotte. So we've seen, you know, we've seen a lot of that mixture of women hold the belt. Not to mention Naomi was a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. That's only because she got injured the first time around, so she won the title back at WrestleMania. Um, and also Alexa Bliss is a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. So you know, I think, like I said, out of all of them, this is definitely Carmella's time. This her time has come. I wish she would have gotten something at WrestleMania, but this is why, you know, after WrestleMania, a lot of people get high hopes because if you don't get anything at WrestleMania, sometimes the bright light just clicks after WrestleMania. And that's exactly what happened with her. She got nothing at WrestleMania, wasn't even on the card. And then, boom, 2 nights later, she's cashing in the Money in the Bank and actually successful at it. I was rooting for her to do it because, like I said, um, we've seen Charlotte. She's basically won everything. You know, she was a Raw Women's Champion for about 4 times. You know, she's SmackDown Women's Champion once. So altogether, she's about a 5-time Women's Champion or so. We've seen her trade the title back and forth with Charlotte, with Sasha Banks. So, like I said, man, like she basically done it all. But Carmella has she hadn't won a single women's championship ever since she's been on SmackDown Live. So I think this was definitely her moment. Obviously, like I said, Charlotte is going to be owed a rematch clause. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, especially with oh, that's her name, Billy Kate and Peyton Ward, especially with them making their uh, call ups, making their debut to SmackDown Live after getting called up from NXT, which I think this is the perfect time to call them up because I couldn't think of what women was left of NXT that they would call up, and now they got these women because really both shows really need a huge boost. That's why it was good. Ember Moon came to Raw, even though I think she couldn't get to SmackDown, but you know it's good that they're having women get called up from NXT and are coming to both shows because both shows need a lot more women in their divisions because it's just not enough women in the division. Put it this way, there is enough women in the division, but they don't use them on television. That's the problem. There's women in the divisions of the shows, but they're not using half of them on television. They'll just do like a whole big segment where it just shows all the women together. That's the problem. Like there's enough women, but they don't generate all their women on the show. They have a lot of them just sit backstage and do nothing, and that's why they make it seem like there's not a lot of women on both shows, but there is. They just don't use them half the time, or if they do use them, they'll just job out to another one. That's the simple thing that they'll do with a lot of women on both shows. So I like the fact that they're trying to refresh and get a lot of more people on both shows. You know, I think that honestly, this is probably one of the best Smackdowns. Even though I kind of knew with Daniel Bryan facing AJ Styles, I kind of knew that something was going to happen during the match, only because they want to continue the storyline with Shinsuke and AJ Styles since Shinsuke is healed now. I kind of knew something was going to happen. I'm not very disappointed about it. I think the match, honestly, and this is one of the things that SmackDown does a lot with their main events. They'll start it at about 9:37, 9:40 or something. So they really don't have that much time to deliver, but it did deliver in the amount of time it had. It was a really good match. It was an excellent match. But of course, it got ruined by Shinsuke Nakamura. But like I said, and it's a shame that would happen in their very first match, but I've seen it happen so many times over the years, I'm just not even surprised it happened. I think this is just a way to set up to continue the feud with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, because at this point, it's pretty much making it seem like Shinsuke is becoming obsessive with winning a WWE Championship, with the way how he responded at WrestleMania, and with the way how he just responded on SmackDown Live, attacking Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. But I can say he's generating heat because already the fans are booing him with turning heel. A lot of heels nowadays are getting cheered, but he's actually getting booed, which is a good thing because that's what's supposed to happen. Instead of getting cheered for, he's actually generating heat from that. So I could say I can give Shinsuke that. But man, that was just kind of insane. But like I said, the show overall was one of the better SmackDowns. It's going to be interesting to see what they could do with SmackDown Live, especially when this shakeup happened. Since people basically have said that SmackDown really went downhill ever since last year's Superstar shakeup. It just completely ruined SmackDown when they did that. I mean, SmackDown still has some good matches here and there, so I'm not gonna say it completely went downhill. There's still a lot of things I made videos of. But like I said, man, this one just had to caught. This one just caught my eye. I had to make a video about this immediately when I saw it. I had to make a video about Carmella cashing in the Money in the Bank as soon as I saw it because I was like, finally, finally, it's happened. Finally, Carmella has cashed in and she was successful because that was the thing I was afraid of. I was afraid that she was going to cash in, that she wasn't going to be successful. But finally, she cashed it in. She was successful. And that's great. So that really, like I said, I can ask for nothing more. Just a really excellent moment there. She finally got her moment. The way that Charlotte stood up, you can kind of tell that she took a more brutal beating by Peyton Royce and Billy Kate. And it's funny how it took for them to give her such a brutal beating. But then when they had the Wyatt Squad do, which the Riot Squad had basically beaten her down multiple times. When Carmella tried to come out, she kept failing before she even put the official cash in. But it took for them to beat her down. Some NXT call-ups. I mean, they were NXT call-ups too, but they've been here for a while. But these are brand new NXT call-ups, and it took for them to come out for her to actually lose the belt. So I think that was genius because, like I said, Charlotte has basically won everything. It's just, I mean, obviously she's going to get a rematch. Obviously she's going to start a feud with them. So I just want to see what they can go with this, man. I want to see what they can do with Carmella. I think it would have been funny if James Ellsworth was still in WWE because if he didn't get released, it would have been interesting to see him come out and like hug Carmella or something after she won the belt. That would have been so funny if something like that happened, in my opinion. Because I actually liked James Ellsworth in his when he was coming out with Carmella. I thought that was really funny. It would have been funny if he had came out and hugged her or something like that. But we didn't. But of course that wasn't gonna happen. But she got her moment. She's the champ, and yeah. So she cashed in. That's really all I want to do here with this video. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap it off, guys. Like I said, you can always expect unexpected on the channel. That's why you've seen so much changes. But I am generating a lot more wrestling videos because as my seniors coming to a close, I'm able to generate more wrestling videos once I see something big happen on SmackDown or Raw. I'll try either at the end of this week or on the weekend to do a video of my WrestleMania 34 review. So stay tuned for that because I had a lot to say about WrestleMania with this unpredictableness that they did. So WrestleMania 34, so I got a lot to say about that. So I'm gonna wrap it off right here, guys. Signing off, Raymaster Flex. Thank you guys for watching this video, and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.